So I usually start with how now, brown cow. Unique New York. Unique New York. The Human Torch acquired a bank loan today. The purple porcupine picked a pickled pepper. And there's some other P word. Oh, the unicyclist prepared a pair of pants. That's what was the other one. I'm not sure if you have any like vocal practices that you've ever had to do
No,
before.
you took mine.
Okay. Oh man, it's definitely I don't know. I've been trying to like find some new ones, but just kind of hoping.
What, the teeth fall at the tip of the tongue?
Ooh, that's a new one.
Yeah,
Well,
I think.
we'll add that to the list then. Oh, geez, Louise, I messed up the whole show already. I was showing us beforehand. Oh, we'll see if anybody actually noticed or not. But
what happened, JD? Are we on Twitch right now?
We're live, but I didn't have the right scene up, so we'll give people another second here to tune in. Oh, we already have a bunch of viewers, so let's all get rolling. Welcome back, shooters.
Let's go
for a fantastic Team Handball Tuesday edition of Shootin' Straight, a handball podcast with JD, and we're joined by Max Littman as my co-host today. But we are joined with our special guest, Katiann Scherer. Katiann, how are you?
Hello. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's definitely been a long time, so we're glad to get reconnected again. You know, I feel like I don't know when the last time I saw you even was. It was probably
probably 2014, like when I graduated.
Jeez Louise. That was definitely a long time ago.
And in 2014, I was 10, JD.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Max was a young kid, a young lad.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yes. So
you're good.
For those of you who don't know Max was on our show a couple months ago. He's probably going to be stepping in for Joey here while Joey goes through finals and wraps up his semester. So, Max, anything to report to our listeners here?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, JD, the podcasting world's tough. You know it, I know it. Joey couldn't make the cut, and at the end of the day, it sucks for him, for the viewers who liked him. I don't really know who would. He's a Michigan guy through and through. We don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm here repping the great city of Ohio. Right here, Milwaukee United HC Handball. Played for them back in the old days. Brilliant handball player myself, actually. Not as good as Katiann as some, but I'd say I'm probably top 20 in the country right now. So it's really just a gift, JD, to be able to be on the podcast with you and with all our viewers.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence. So I think we'll leave the top tier handball talk to Katiann on this show. So Katiann,
that's fair, but those of us that are at the elite levels, like we know where each other's at.
Yeah, exactly. Game recognized game.
Iron sharpens iron, JD.
Exactly. So Katiann, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to our listeners and viewers, and I personally would like to hear the story of how you started to where you are right now, because it's quite the tumultuous tale.
It is, and I think it's still very tumultuous as I keep going. It never ends. Handball, I think, always throws you an unexpected twist and turn, and you just got to be ready for the ride. And honestly, that's how it all started. I went to school at Ohio State, and I was on the crew team. And my sister actually started to come to school as well at Ohio State, and we wanted to play a team sport together. So we actually were walking through the club fair at the beginning of school. And I'm pretty sure, JD, you threw one of us the ball and we caught it and we're like, oh, what's this? And that's kind of what drew us in. And then once we started coming to practice, we really enjoyed it. And it just kind of went from there. I think I got thrown into the goal because nobody else wanted to other than you.
Yep.
And so they needed another goalie in the end. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll go. Why not? And then, of course, Alex hits me in the face with a ball. And right. I kept playing. And I think that's when Mark Ortega was like, you should probably try out for the national team. So, I mean, after that, I, decided to really go all in, and I went to Alabama and Auburn to try out for the national team. And so then that's kind of where it all started. And I was in Auburn for like 2 years, and I went over to France in Hasbrook to play over there for a little while. I was trying to find a club team. And then I came back to Auburn for a little bit, and then I went back to Europe to play in Germany and Bremen to see if I wanted to play handball over there again. And while I was over there, they said, hey, we're starting a beach team in California, and if you want to be a part of this, you got to come out to California. So I was like, okay, sure.
Right.
I've moved over all across, and I can definitely do California. So so that's what brought me out to California, and I've been here for almost 4 years doing stuff with the beach team. So it's been a trip.
To say the least. Holy cow. How many countries do you think you've
Great
been
story.
to so far?
With all the competitions, at least like 15 to 18.
Dang. That's
Yeah.
passports getting stamps. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Not this past year, but
Not sure anybody's getting too many stamps this year.
I know.
You were talking about Katrina. How's Katrina? Is it today her birthday?
Yes, today is Katrina's birthday. So shout out to her. She's good. She's playing with her Australian rules football team, and she's doing really well. She went over to Australia a couple times, but she's in Columbus. So I keep telling her to hit you guys up and get her to be back and playing with you. So
We're not even playing right now.
Yeah.
It's tough out here.
But
yeah.
We now have a full women's team. So if she'd want to get back getting involved in a coaching situation, like I'm sure our ladies would love that, because I can only be in so many places at once, and it's always good to have a fellow woman leading them. I think they like that sometimes. But yeah, I know that she went to Australia for a while, and was like, holy cow, like both you guys just like going all the way to the top, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think we just kind of got the travel bug, and then the whole teammate side of things, and really getting attached to the different sports. And like you're saying, it's so cool to see what like Malka and Amber, Elizabeth and Jessie and the rest of the women's team have done. Because I mean, when I was there with Katrina and Brittany, that was like the three girls, and we played with you guys, and we went to Penn State, and we played with them there. And it's crazy to see how much Penn State has grown too. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like
they have a huge program over there.
Especially on the women's side, because when we went there, they didn't have, I don't know that they had a women's team at all. And then poof.
I think they had one or two other girls playing with their men's team, kind of like how we were doing with you guys. Yeah.
So
their national championship 2 years ago really propelled the program.
Yeah, definitely. They took huge strides in such a quick amount of time, and it was really cool to see how quickly they were able to do that. So that was awesome. And so, I mean, Ohio State's going to be right there too. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, we're looking forward. We had a pretty good recruiting class this past fall. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to get any games in, but I was very impressed with the new ladies we brought onto the team. And I know our ladies from last year are looking to finally get a game. They played all last season. They didn't have a single game against another women's team. They played against the guys' team. They did exactly how you guys used to do it. And there's a couple instances where I was genuinely scared for people's health. We got a couple guys that are a little too strong. There was some definite concussion protocol that needed to be taking place for Malka. So she was fine. She was fine. So
that's good.
Thanks for clarifying that she was fine, JD.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure everybody, I bet someone in the chat probably, if Malka's watching, she'll be like, "Oh, thanks, JD, for bringing that up." It's one of our favorites.
I mean, I saw her on her podcast. She seemed good for then. That's good to hear that she's doing well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Max, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I've been thinking all day, obviously. Want to know first, how big were JD and Ohio State to your development as a handball athlete?
Louise, this guy.
I always have this image of JD when he was taped to the goal.
Oh,
and
Why'd they ever let him off?
I don't know.
Anton,
he did really well in there when he was taped,
It's the same. I have the same problem with wing shots, and it's probably just, bad memories from that taping experience. But
yeah.
From JD against wing shots, as a wing, I love when JD's the goalie because it's the only time I'll ever score.
Yep.
I just know it's automatic.
Wow.
So for those of you who don't know the story of the tape, essentially, I don't know if it was Mark or Anton's idea, but
I think it was Anton. For sure, Anton.
Sounds about right. Max actually has a pretty funny Anton story that he'll share with you in a little bit here. But Anton basically had me tape my elbow to the top corner of the goal and then proceeded to tape the rest of my entire body to the side post. And I was essentially just tied to the goal, I think, for like almost all of practice, if I recall. So,
yeah, I was surprised that he actually got you to stay there for that long,
I kind of feared for my life, to be honest with him. Sometimes there'd be times where he'd want me to meet him in a dark alley alone. And
what?
Yeah,
and you went?
Yeah, I'd always tell my mom or like my roommates, and I'd be like, "Hey, just so you guys are aware, I'm meeting Anton in this alley in a car. If that's where I was last seen." So
wow.
And
I don't know how that judgment is, JD. We need to work on that.
It was a younger JD, more risky, more risk taking.
Not married JD.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. The married life has settled me down. Obviously. But yeah, Anton, we could go on for literally hours about Anton's stories.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, JD. Katiann, you can finish the question, and then I'll give you the choice of Anton stories that you want.
Wait, what do I have to finish?
The question, it was just the rest of like how much OSU influenced your handball.
So I mean, that's how it all got started. And honestly, every time that I talk about how I got into handball, I always start off like, it was a random club sport that my sister and I decided to join, and that's where my love grew for it. So it's just crazy to think about like one little thing. If we would have gone off and done a different club, who knows what would have happened. I don't think I would have ever gotten involved with handball, and just like to see where it's grown today is huge.
Mm-hmm. And really,
it was pivotal. It was pivotal.
That's still where so many of us get our starts. Like my start was at the exact same fair a couple of years later, walking by and seeing JD at a booth. And we have national team guys now who started at probably like their college's involvement fairs, which is crazy.
Yeah. And that just shows though how helpful those fairs and stuff should be for clubs who are trying to get started, and that we really need to use that to our advantage. And even though we're in COVID and trying to figure that out, there's virtual fairs that we can be doing. So just
and also
trying to think outside the box.
From a college fair to like age 10.
Yeah. So, and that way too, like trying to get the younger crowd is where you can kind of market it to parents, and because they're looking for things to do for their kids, right? Especially now because they're home with them and they're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? They're here with me. I need them to be occupied in some way. So if we can try to figure out ways to get them involved, that would be huge.
Yeah, as a parent, I would love if my little Rugrats could just be focused on a sport instead of annoying Big Max is what they call me.
Oh, yeah.
Max has no children. Do not let him fool you.
Okay, I was like, maybe he just calls like his nephews his children. Who knows?
No, I got nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
The other part that Katiann didn't bring up that I like to, for all our OSU current players that are listening, is that we had practice 9 p.m. on Friday nights at the gym that was off campus that nobody wanted to go to. So
you went to that? Was that at JO South, JD?
The Arc.
Oh, I would not have been on the team.
Exactly.
It was great. I still remember you coming in your car, and we'd have to like move it into Alex's Staborski's like car and try and figure out how we were going to get it in and out. And especially when it was cold. It was terrible.
Yep. Kids don't understand that anymore. They all they have to do is get the goals down from a closet within the RPAC. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, we have
That's
racks
huge.
in the RPAC closet now that they store all our balls, gear, etc.
Moving up. Look at that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the kids with that moving up become lazier and lazier because they don't recall. They never lived through what we used to have to do. So,
But I'll tell you what, JD, if you were still practicing 9 p.m. on Friday nights, you wouldn't have a team right now.
that is very true.
You would be surprised. It's for the love of the game, Max.
I like the game a lot. In college, I liked Friday night festivities significantly more.
OSU,
You always had Saturday night.
yeah, there's other night, Thursday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday.
Yeah,
there's
Thursday
other
night. Yeah. Every other
practice
night.
on Thursday nights too. Like,
Yeah, well, Jeb found a way to make sure he could do both. So we have plenty of players who,
Jeb is a
he
he would just show up
Outer
during the
Inn
practice.
was just, a few blocks away.
Yeah.
Katiann was a bartender actually back in the day at Big Bar. So
Yes, I was.
Great
yeah.
bar.
Max
Probably
is a
the best
big
on
fan.
campus.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Absolutely not.
I haven't been back in quite some time, but it was definitely a lot of fun when I was working there.
I got propositioned by a Russian pimp in the VIP room once. Like, not from the VIP floor. Yeah, it was very weird.
Like for you to be a part of his crew, or
No, for me to buy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was 18 years old, and I was like, please leave. Like, get away from me. I'm 18.
Oh man, I mean, you never know.
Big Bar still.
I mean,
exists,
customer is
though.
customer.
The key is
If JD had been there instead of me, who knows what would have happened?
Yeah. Big Bar is one of the few bars that still.
Is that what
remains.
Anton was doing?
This is where I give you the choice of Anton's stories. My two best.
Yeah, right.
You want Anton's anti-Semitism, or you want Anton's car crash or car crash?
Probably the car crash one would be less offensive.
I mean, I'm
right?
Jewish, so it was against me, so like I can tell.
Let's go with the less offensive route.
So going to 2017 college nationals, and you wouldn't know Danilo, but Danilo, great winger. Me, Danilo, Rusty, the goalie's driving, and Anton's in the car. The back seat is me on one side, Anton on the other. We leave at 5 a.m. to head down to North Carolina, and another long story. Rusty fell asleep and go down a hill. We crash backwards first into a tree.
Jeez.
And Anton, being Anton, was not wearing a seatbelt, because why would Anton wear a seatbelt? So we're going backwards down this hill, and I was asleep, and I wake up to like us just careening out of control. And Anton had slid all the way over, and he was hugging me because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So Anton's hugging me, and we're going down this bank and hitting a tree. And then like as soon as we hit, like he pushes back off me. He's like, I was like, man. Anyway, so we get out of the car and we try to push it up the hill, and Anton is just insistent that the car is fine and we can just get it onto the freeway. He's pushing it. So he has me, because I was the weakest one, be in the driver's seat, like press the gas, while Anton and crew are trying to push the car, and it's just not budging. Like, this car is very clearly crashed, but Anton is the Superman. And for our listeners who don't know, Anton is a Russian illegal immigrant who played handball. He might stay.
Yep.
Not a great guy. Anyways.
He had a good heart, He had
He had a lot of handball knowledge, and he coached us for a little while there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's great. Anyways, we fail pushing the car up the embankment. So we go to the freeway, and we stand there like with our arms raised, and the whole handball team passes us. Like, the guys that are going to the tournament just keep driving. It's kind of hurtful. Like, you see your teammates like on the side of the road waving their arms, and you just keep driving. And we didn't have cell phone reception either, so we really were just blind.
To be fair,
after
Max,
we got reception,
your guys' car was so far off the road that even if someone had drove by, they wouldn't have seen your car. Like, when he says
you wouldn't have seen the car, you would have just seen like idiots standing on the road. Yeah.
They're like off the highway down a 30-foot ditch into the trees.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, once I got reception again, we checked like the handball like team group, and someone was like, why are you guys standing on the side of the road? Anyway, so like 30 minutes later, a cop rolls up, and one of these is like, it's a state highway patrol guy, but he was like a country boy, like a good old country boy. He's like, all right, boys, let me see some IDs. And Anton just started freaking out. This man is not here legally. He does not have an ID. And like he comes to us three first, and we give it to him. And eventually the cop gets Anton. He's like, I Anton. And the cop was like, what? They're like, so like, what's your name? He's like, Anton. And the cop tries to talk to Anton for like 10 minutes, and this man just pretends he doesn't know English. He's just Russian in it. And eventually the cop's just so fed up with this clearly like brain dead Russian guy, he just gives up and gives Rusty a ticket. We get our car fished out of there, and we have the rest of the trip. And Anton was insistent on driving because we didn't want to have Rusty drive anymore after almost killing us. And the game changing thing is we refused to let Anton touch the controls of the vehicle.
It was a stick shift.
Wow.
So that was the reason you guys, all the stick shift guys were all in the car together. So that was, yeah. Poor planning. I don't know where I was at. I feel like that was the year I flew.
Geez, JD.
I step away from 5 minutes.
That is the year you flew.
Yeah, I think I flew to nationals.
The married self of being able to control and
And is that the same tournament where our coaches bailed halfway through, or did Tony and D-May not come?
That was, they left halfway through. So, because Randall,
yeah, they got so fed up.
Randall and I played our like 5th year of college nationals on the B team. So, yeah.
Oh, Randall. Do you talk to Randall anymore?
I talk to Randall probably on a weekly basis at least. He's doing pretty well. So he plays for the Armada when we can convince him to. So he's still got it. So we got a lot of the old guys are still playing.
Some major hops.
Yeah.
He had some major hops.
He still does.
Get him playing beach.
Yeah, he's
I
good
would
at
love
our
that.
beach tournament. So we don't have the sand that you have out in California, so it's a little tough. It's a little dangerous, I think, playing beach handball here. I'm thinking actually, with the 3 inches of snow we got last night, maybe if it's still here this weekend, we might play some snow beach handball. So.
I actually saw those pictures. My sister, my family sent me some photos being like, hey, are you missing Ohio? I'm like, no.
If you do miss Ohio, you should consider coming to next summer's beach handball tournament. An honored guest.
It won't be at
Indian Lake. Where do you guys play?
So normally we play at Indian Lake. We didn't do that this year because of COVID, and I don't live there anymore. So we had it in my backyard. I did not order any sand. We just did it on my grass. Now all of my grass is dead. So we're gonna probably do it at Flanagan's next year is my hope.
Good location.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I actually know, I don't know if he's still, but I know the manager there. And Katrina actually had a Australian rules football donation event, fundraiser event there last year for Australia Aspires. And so I'm pretty sure she had it at Flanagan's.
Okay.
So I'll have to hook you up.
Yeah, that'd be clutch. Cool. Malka asked in the chat for me to pull up the picture I was referring to where she got beat up by Dale. So there it is, everybody. That's in. So it was very dangerous. We made a GIF. We made a GIF out of it. It was, or a GIF, however you want to pronounce it.
Is it a GIF or a GIF?
I think it's a GIF, but I'm open. I'm open to debate. You know. I guess Jiffy peanut butter, but
what does the young buck over here say?
I don't know.
Max, young buck, what do you think?
Yeah. I was pulling up the Twitch because I want to see what JD puts up.
Excuses.
I generally go with just whatever the opposite of what JD says is what I assume to be accurate in this world. So if he says GIF, I'll say GIF.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
Yep. Katiann, why don't you tell us, since you've played both beach and indoor, and have played in many different countries and a couple different positions a little bit, tell us what your favorite place to be involved with handball is. If does that make sense?
Honestly, I think kind of, I mean, do you mean like where I've played before, where was like a good tournament, or
if you were to go to your favorite place involved with handball, like whether that's on the court, like what position, whether that's beach or sand, what country, give me the ideal place. Yeah,
so I would probably have to say like in goal. And in Greece, we went to an island called Paros, and we were playing right on the edge of the water, and it was beautiful. And the sand was perfect. And but second is really probably here in California in Hermosa Beach, where we do all of our trainings on the weekends. And we work out with the guys group too. So it's kind of the RIP beach handball club team. So that's been a lot of fun this past whole 6 months. We've been able to actually play with masks on. So that's been pretty awesome this past summer.
Good. Tell us a little bit about RIP. I mean, I know I don't know what the beach club scene is like, but I can't imagine there's too many American beach. I know there's some Mexican teams that you guys will play and things like that.
Yeah. So honestly, it's just us trying to grow as many more clubs as we can. So RIP is kind of the LA and San Diego based club teams. Right now there's the men's team and the women's team, and we're actually going to be registering as a nonprofit and actually building up an actual whole thing. So it will be really cool to see how we can expand that and grow it. There aren't that many teams out right now in the US, but again, trying to grow that more and more. And if we can kind of set a whole okay, this is how you do A, B, and C to get to this status and how we can help you grow, that would be an amazing opportunity for RIP to be able to help other clubs grow in the US. And then right now we also kind of have a few other teams down in San Diego, the San Diego State University, and then also UC San Diego. We have a few people who used to play with us up here in Hermosa, and then they started going to school down in San Diego. So myself and a few other beach handball members would go down and help them out on the weekends, and we'd actually do some scrimmages and playing with them.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's it's growing, and we're looking to grow more. We've got, some teams in Atlanta right now, Texas, Colorado, hopefully, basically wherever you have a beach person, they're trying to start something up or at least get their friends to come in. And that's honestly how you start anything, right? Yeah. It's just one person who tries to get a couple more people. And, I've been pretty persuasive and been able to get quite a few people around the area to join us. So I'm hoping that other beach girls and guys are able to be as persuasive and get some more teams popping up.
Yeah. Now, here I have a somewhat related question.
Yeah.
What's it like at such a high level, against such good beach teams, and of course at international competitions, being a goal with the ball coming out of your face? I have played some goalie for OSU in the Armada, and I just can't reconcile it. I don't know. How do you do it? What's your advice, if any, for the young buck goalie listeners out there?
Yeah. Honestly, that's another reason why I like beach a lot better than indoor, is that the ball is a lot more forgiving. It's not leather. It is a soft plastic, rubbery material.
Mm-hmm. I definitely prefer getting hit with that ball.
Yeah. When I first started handball, I think I got 3 concussions in the span of a year. And then in here, the past 4 years, I think I've gotten 0 concussions, at least that I remember. So hopefully none. Right. But I mean, it's a real thing. You got to be careful with it. And that's definitely a decision factor for me, for my safety and the health of myself. But honestly, just working on that hand-eye coordination as much as possible. And I think getting your reaction time to actually doing it correctly and blocking your face. Because I think a lot of the times I'll almost forget to be like, oh yeah, I need to block my face. And so I just use that as another surface area to not get it a goal. But I think having that willpower to actually put yourself in that situation and then just being able to react is going to be the best way to combat that.
Yeah, I think my willpower non-existent. not there. Why don't we leave it up to big JD there, who JD's had so many concussions it doesn't matter at that point. The doctors told him he's not making it past 30, so it's all good.
I'm not sure
Oh
I've
my
ever
gosh.
had a concussion.
Real sad for
I
JD.
think there's only I've never been tested for concussion, but the only time that I would consider me potentially having it was my very first handball game ever against Miami. That was the only situation I think that I've actually like seen stars blacked out a little bit from being hit in the face. So
I got one my first game playing goalie actually. I was playing the Armada and CJ hit me in the face and I was
shot
I can't
from
remember
CJ
that game.
That'll do it. So
The Magic.
the Malaysian CJ, yeah.
What didn't we call him like the Magic Man or something?
I don't remember this.
The Malaysian man?
Maybe not.
He's probably watching. He'll probably say something here if he usually watches.
I can't remember. It's been too long.
I'm gonna call him the Magic Man now. That's CJ's new name.
There you go. Sorry, CJ.
But I would think like beach, at least the few times that we've played, the lack of, and again, you're playing with better competition, but when Kempas are coming and people are going for 360s, the accuracy component, I think, completely goes out the door. So I would think there'd be a lot more, as long as you're playing the angles right, you got a lot better chance of making saves on those, opportunities. But
but that's where the save ratio goes up for your face to get hit more too, because the act of when they're in shooting mode of that 360 spin, the ref will not call it as a direct, shot to the face.
Because it wasn't intentional, right? Like
that's what they say, even if it is or not, just because they say that they can't control it. But if you're doing the 360 spin, you should be able to control your spin and your shot. But
as a big 360 guy, like I always have it right in the corner, so I don't know what people are doing if they're throwing out the head.
I know, right? Yeah, you'll have to send me some footage of you doing that.
No, it doesn't exist.
Max,
recruit.
I'll send you Max's highlight tape from Denmark. It's truly, remarkable.
JD, as long as you don't play that for the viewers right now.
I should pull it up. Katiann,
should not. You tweeted it once. It was enough.
What advice would you give to potential beach players about how to perform the best 360 spin shot? Because I know whenever we every time that we have our beach tournament, we do like a probably 45-minute kind of informational session beforehand. We kind of go over the rules. We do some practice spins. We do some practice kempas and things like that. What advice would you give to people listening? Because it's not as easy as it looks to just, stand there spinning around, because you have to convince yourself to fall. And I think that's where I struggle. But what is your input?
Well, there's different ways to do it. 360. So you can really start to do like a spiral out and like a corkscrew, or you can even go up more and be more vertical. It also depends on like what kind of defense you're facing. So there's lots of different nuances that you can take into consideration, but just for a general 360, the best way is to start with your hand up and then having the ball and then taking that momentum across your body and swinging it down. So then when you go down and then you do a 360, so it's almost like you're doing a 270 that you're already getting yourself half, like that quarter of the way around, right? Before you do your actual 360. And then also making sure that your feet are facing the goal and pointing to the goal. Because then if your feet are off at all, then the ref won't call it as a 2-point shot.
So then it's just worth that, whatever.
Yeah, so then it's like, why did I just do the 360,
So I know one of the beach handball rules is the goalie is worth 2 points if you score, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you go out a lot? Do you go empty net and try to get some in?
Yeah. So you can do like coast to coast, goal to goal shots, or there's even some goalies that will come across the goal line and then they'll play on the field as the specialist. So
JD
cool.
is very into that. When JD's playing, especially me, he wants to score on me, and this man will will just run hog wild on the field, give up easy goals because he's trying to do his
I
best.
can totally picture that.
Whatever it takes. Not gonna let Max score on me, and I definitely want to score on Max. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have a good time.
You frequently do.
I think like it'd be tough, like, you know, for us to maybe come out to California. I know you've invited us out to tournaments before, and I think the guys out and the gals, you know, we always have at least one or two ladies that'll play in the last couple of years, but getting everybody convinced to make the trip out to California might be a little tough. But if we plan enough in advance, maybe you guys come hang out with us or something like that. You know, we'll have to do a little bit more planning when it's not COVID. But we usually have probably about 5 or 6 teams that'll compete, and we'll play all day and have a good time with it.
That's great.
So, I know everybody likes it a lot. It's just you know, the access to sand and good quality sand is the bigger problem, is actually good quality sand. So we're approaching
I would love to attend that.
Yeah, we'll definitely, whenever you come back to visit, you just let us know, and we'll have a beach day. I think we can kind of combine timelines there. So okay, we are hitting our halftime mark, so we're gonna hit halftime, and I'm gonna end this Zoom, and you guys are gonna come